Alright, so here's where I'm at with the remix that I'm doing, or song, whatever you want to call it, with all the loops that you guys have submitted. I tried to do a Ustream broadcast, and that was a bit of a nightmare. And I think the quality suffers and different things like that. So I'm going to just kind of post little progress reports and things on what I'm doing, and hopefully give you a little insight to what's happening. So far, let me I'll kind of show you what I've got so far. So actually, hang tight just a second. I'm gonna drag all these loops. Dubs distort. Let me just, there we go. Yeah, don't need that. Okay. So let me give you some of the original parts. So I'll go ahead and pull this off here. See if I can get a little more volume on that. I think that was the only drum beat that I received, so thanks for that. And so I had some saturator, EQ, and compression just to give it a little more punch. And that's what I got. And then I duplicated the track, which is a trick that I use a lot. And I run through the same effects, but then I put a vocoder at the end here. So that just gives me this nice little noise rhythm. And I can change the release time as well. But I like it where it's at. Let's see where we are here. Oh, this is just some extra bits of the drum part. So it's just an extra layers that I edited over here. Oh, actually I cut it out of there so they don't get confused. So those are just little edits so that I could put in the loop. And then we have this part here that I kind of cut up a loop. I don't have the original. I just added some filter and delay, saturation again. And that's actually an edit here, because I edited out some of these parts. So if I go ahead and duplicate this, I'll just draw in the parts again on this duplication. So that's the original part, and I'm just cutting out little bits and adding some effects. Like so. This one was tricky. This is a distorted guitar part, and I don't typically use distorted guitar in a lot of my work, so it made for an interesting challenge. So let me play the original part with no effects on. and I'll show you the bits that I think that I'm going to be using afterwards. So here's the original part. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of make cuts and edits of that. And so I cut out different parts and brought it into the Arrange window, made some cuts and edits, highlighted the section, and then consolidated the new part here. Then I dragged it back over here. While I'm building the song, I have decided to kind of keep it here in the session window until I've got all my parts sorted out. And that way I don't have a part here and a part here both battling to be played or whatever. Because once you get, it gets confusing when you've got a bunch of parts that are in both places. So I figure I'll just do my work here. If I need to make edits, then I'll drag a clip over, make the edits here, and then drag it back. Okay, so the distorted guitar. All right, and I think I made another edit too. Which is just that part. So the original I'm not using, so I can just drag that away. And then I got my effects. I ran through a chain here that I made so that I could put the lows and the highs separately, and back off the highs and mids and leave a lot of the low in there. Use it almost like a little bass type of part, a little punchy, distorted bass. So after everything's said and done, this is what I've got. Oops. So that's what I got so far. What I might probably want to do is use a delay on a send. That way the delay carries over. Because if I go in and edit the volume, which I've done on one of these, which I can't see now. Maybe I already sorted that out. But if there's volume drops on this, then it also drops the volume of the delay. So if I want to edit something and have a delay carry over, you want to use a return track. So that's probably what I'll do on this. And here's some other loops that I haven't yet figured out what I'm going to do with yet. I think that's playing double time, so let me see what that is. I might actually half time. I think I'll duplicate that, and I'll have a double time and a half time, just see what interesting things I can do with it. Oh, there we go. And someone just sent me this sample just of a voice part. Let me get rid of all this craziness, show you what the original sample sounds like. Probably have to turn it up pretty loud.
In case you need some acid, just in case you need some acid, just in case you need some acid.
And that's the sample, that's all there is. So I figured I would use that and do some real filtery thing where you can kind of barely tell what's being spoken. So that's what I attempted to do here. I'm running saturation. I've got two different auto filters. One's a low pass and one's a high pass. Then I EQ everything at the end. And this is what that sounds like. All right, so let me just bring this down to another scene so it doesn't play. And actually, I'll bring this down too. Pretty much good. All right, and this is what I've got all together so far. Yeah, there's a long way to go, but okay, so that is definitely not like the beginning of a song. Typically what I'll do is I'll mess about with things until it sounds interesting enough to be like the main part of the song. And then I'll strip it down when I decide that I want to build the song. So that's my report. That's where I'm at so far with these loops. You can still feel free to send me loops. I just got a bunch more that I'll probably be going through and seeing what I could put to use. So I'll report back. If you want to email me loops, just make sure it's in the key of C minor if it's a melodic part, and 125 BPM if possible would be great. And go ahead and send it to musicsoftwaretraining@gmail.com.